Welcome to the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society. Welcome to ITSP Magazine Podcast Radio. You're about to listen to an episode of Through the TechVine. So be quiet, pay attention, and get inspired. There is one truth that is not told enough. Technology is not magic, but it can be magical. Technology is human. It is part of who we are, our evolution, our future. Will it be a dystopian or utopian one? Well, that is up to us and nobody else. Knowledge is power, now more than ever. Blue Lava is the first business platform for CISOs to manage their security program. Blue Lava guides security leaders to effectively measure, optimize, and communicate their security program with confidence and ease in one platform. Learn more at bluelava.net.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the TechVine. Who's there?
We've got AI Sean again. Although it's Mini-Me, I guess. Is that Minim or Mini-Me?
Or minimize.
Mini-Me.
You're reading it frontwards.
M&M?
I was going to say the same thing. I'm like, no, it's wrong, but he's going to rap. Okay. All right. Sean is rapping. Well, welcome, everyone. We are here hiding in the TechVine, and we are ready to have some fun today. We're back from the Metaverse. How do you guys feel being back from the Metaverse?
I dropped my wallet.
Oh, my eyes are still adjusting.
Was your wallet full of cryptocurrency?
It was, yeah.
Well, that's not real, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, no. I'm not sad at all.
It's not real until you have it, and then you really lose it. It's going to get real altogether.
Problem is I turned the power off, so I can't get to the lost and found.
So, Marco, you got the headset and everything. Are you going to keep it? Have you been using it? What's going on?
I haven't got to explore much more. I did have a couple of nice experience. First of all, the good news is I feel like I'm getting used to it, so I'm not getting too sick. Motion sick. I feel like my brain is getting used to it, which can be a dangerous thing for me because I could get a little addicted to it. I am thinking I'm going to keep it. And then I was reading a couple of days ago that, of course, Apple is going to come up with a new one in 2022, I believe.
Ooh.
So I think it's a thing. I better be prepared. So
It's not a fad.
it's work. I say, you know what? This is a job. I need to know what's going on here.
Was there a price point on the Apple solution yet?
No,
Is it going to be competitive with Oculus? Okay.
I'm gonna put my my future reader hat, and I'm gonna say it's gonna be way more expensive than the one that we have now, knowing Apple. But it's gonna be so cool. That's probably gonna be.
You have to pay for the Apple sticker that comes inside.
Yeah. Apparently, it's going to be a mix, actually, if they do that, between it's both augmented reality and virtual reality. So you kind of have both worlds at the same time, or you can choose which one you want to explore. So it'll be interesting to see.
Nice.
Yep. Are you guys thinking to give it a try at all, or are you just going to not?
That's what I was asking, because I was tempted. I saw something about refurbed Oculi are going for like $199 at Walmart, I think. So I was wondering what the Apple price point was going to be, if it was going to be competitive with the Oculus or not.
I'm assuming it will be a little bit more expensive, but I wouldn't count on that to really come out anytime soon. They say 2022, but maybe at the end of it. So I think they're playing that teasing game, but
yeah,
we'll see. So I'd rather be prepared and knowing what's going on already when that happened. And at that point, I really know, because I mean, the one that I got, the Oculus 2, it was $299 brand new. So I think it's not a bad price point to
$298 more than I want to spend.
Sean is going to be the one talking about the metaverse. I'm going to force him to talk about the metaverse, and he's just going to imagine what it looks like.
I'm going to watch and laugh.
He's grumpy because he lost his wallet there. So.
I'll look for it. Next time I get in there, I'll look for it.
All right, yeah, that's good.
One of those Velcro surfer watches or wallets, you know what it is.
Okay. What game were you playing some game when you lost? Like, were you like skateboarding, snowboarding? What were you doing?
I was ice skating.
Oh. Are you sure you didn't really actually lost in real life?
Polypropylene, or I don't know, it was some kind of plastic I was on.
Was it one of those big spins and jumps when the wallet just kind of like jumped out?
Yeah, it was an Olympic worthy move.
Nice. Yeah.
The wallet went flying.
It was so good that the people looking outside the ring, they just pull out the palette and the vote, and they give you a judging 10, 9.
Exactly. It was a 10 on the garage sale finale.
It was so incredible that the metaverse paused.
Yeah.
Definitely had a bump for sure.
It stumbled a little bit.
There was a glitch.
All right, and here we are talking about the metaverse.
Recorded somewhere. You just have to find it. When you do, you can find my wallet.
Well,
right, exactly.
Sean, I was thinking when you said last time that this is we're officially talking about the metaverse, but how many times have we talked about the metaverse without declaring the intention? And here we are again talking about the metaverse. Sorry.
I think you kind of like it, Marco.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love everything about it, from a sociological study and perspective, and the psychology of it, and the utopian, dystopian, sci-fi. I gotta know more about it. So yeah, I mean,
all right, do that on your own time, would you?
Yep. I'm gonna stop. Although I tell you that my topic today, it's
more metaverse.
No, it's a real metaverse. I'm just gonna leave it like that.
You guys are yin and yang when it comes to the metaverse.
It's metaverse without the goggles in reality.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
Look at that.
It's gonna be fun. All right, you guys want to just get going, or do you want to share something, or would you have such a good topic to discuss that you want to just dive into?
Yeah, I just thought of, like, if we had cows in there, it would be the Moodiverse.
The Moodiverse?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there is some farming game in there or virtual farming reality where you can buy land and raise cows and everything. So I love it. Yep.
Moodiverse.
That'd be a very moving experience, I'm sure.
Oh, somebody's just asking us if it's just my screen, but can't see anyone here. No, Simon, sorry, we it's an audio cast. So we're mixing the technology that the internet offers us and using it to do radio. It's kind of like we're using 0.5% of the capabilities of the media. We're that boring.
Because why not?
Because we can. Exactly.
Right.
And because we can, Diana, what are we going to talk about today? What did you bring?
Okay, so in addition to the fact that I'm bummed that our farmer neighbors have gotten rid of their cows and we don't know where they are, so my own local Moodiverse is
they're in the metaverse.
Yeah, maybe they lifted up when the cows go up into the spaceships, they just got taken away. So
abduction.
Yeah, cow abduction. Today, I have two kind of pieces. So the first one is just like a real brief thing, which is where I found the tech thing I wanted to talk about. But it's a site called The Conversation. and I had never heard of it. It just came up when I was searching for interesting things, and I followed a link, and it's their tagline is academic rigor and journalistic flair. It's not gated. There's no subscription required. And what I really like about this site is that I think they are really going for academic rigor with journalistic flair, because they have journalists who write the articles, but the contributors are listed as it's all experts. So the piece I was reading, there were 4 different doctors that were there. They were incorporated into it. So it's not just a bunch of like weird sometimes you read articles and it's like a listicle of quotes, and it doesn't make, the journalist actually composed what they said into a very coherent article, but it was essentially written by these experts. So it was so it's a kind of interesting site if anybody wants to check it out. I just learned about it. So I'm sharing that. But the reason I ended up there is that I was curious how we find COVID variants, because it's December 2nd in 2021. Most of us have heard about good old B11529 or Omicron. And I was just thinking like, hey, it's not like they wear little tags that say, hello, my name is new awful variant of COVID. Some scientist somewhere has to figure out that this is COVID. They have to do testing. So what's that technology and what does it look like? And so this article did a really kind of nice explanation of that. And it turns out that finding a new variant takes a whole lot of work. It's not as simple as it's announcing itself that it's different or that it's a variant. And one of the reasons that South Africa may have ID'd it first, it could be that it was there first, because that's always a possibility. It could also be that they found it first because they have this really incredible network of labs that share information, that do genomic surveillance of SARS-CoV-2. And to find the COVID variant, you have to sequence the whole genome of virus positive samples. And then they compare the sequences. And if a new sample matches a known sample, they're like, oh, we've seen this before. It's part of an existing variant. If it differs quite a bit, then they think that they may have a variant. And in South Africa, the science and tech that are in flight are kind of mind-boggling. They started around April of 2020. They've got a central repository of public sector laboratory results with their national health laboratory. They have private laboratories that work with the public and national laboratory and share samples and information. They've got a health data center in West Cape Province that also contributes data. And then they have this really cool state-of-the-art modeling that they do with the South African COVID-19 Modeling Consortium, or SACMC. And all of these scientists and all of this data working together, gives them a lot of insight. And it was through the work that was going on in South Africa, and of course that they did have a sample, that they found in mid-November that they had a new variant. So that's it. So a lot goes into actually trying to figure out these variants, and a lot of hard work and data science. And I heard on the news that they have, in the US, that scientists have been also working round the clock to sequence new samples so that we can find people as quickly as possible, and then do some track and trace on the variant. So a lot of cool tech out there trying to keep us safe. Some other things about the variant and the tech is that if you haven't heard, the mRNA, the messenger RNA vaccines, which are Moderna and Pfizer, they work by training our bodies to detect the spike protein. And unfortunately, with Omicron, one of the things they found when they sequenced it is that it has 30 mutations in the spike protein alone, which may mean that it's going to be more escapable. In other words, our vaccines may not work as well. So that's sort of the downside. It also appears to transmit more easily than even the Delta variant. But here's kind of the upside: is really, really, really early, because it's going to take obviously weeks of smart scientists doing a lot of research and studying this variant. But the really very, very early signs are that it may be not as severe, so that the health impacts are hopefully, as viruses mutate and go forward, they tend to get less lethal, less severe over time. hopefully this is going to be one of those that's less severe. But thank goodness for all the amazing health technology we have to be able to study what we know and hopefully get ahead of this variant.
Yep. Yeah, I was actually talking to one of these virus the other day, and it said it's really tired. Yeah, keep mutating like this, and I had to make a decision like, am I going to spread faster and be a little less virulent and aggressive? And it said,
we have a
screw it.
defender shortage.
I'll go for that. Yeah,
There's
a gap.
Shortage in the body. Yeah, there's a gap of cyber professionals, bio professionals in the body.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we
training going on.
Yeah, we laugh about it, but of course we're all following, and I think all you said is it's very, very relevant. And I'm gonna add a few things because, of course, for someone that is planning to finally get back on the flight to go to visit my family in Italy, this was a news that I didn't really wanted to hear when it came out.
None of us are doctors, by the way, so this is all just
No. Oh yeah. Or virologist.
Or at least not doctor in this.
True. You are.
No, this is personal opinion, and following all of this. I don't know. I mean, I kind of not sure about the reaction that we are having and pointed the finger to South Africa because, as you said, that's where they found it. In the World Health Organization, they just said that, like, doing all this blocking the travel from South Africa, it may be counterproductive because it may stop other labs and research to advertise maybe a result like this, because like we just found out it doesn't even mean that it actually the epicenter is there. And what I was reading this morning is that now we have a couple of cases here in the US, and there's probably been here maybe even before there was in South Africa, in the Netherlands as well. So we just don't know enough. We're hoping that is not as bad as it seems. And of course, thankfully, we have the vaccines that even if they're not going to be as effective, they certainly should give some kind of protection. So we're way ahead of the game compared with 2 years ago when it started.
Yeah, and I think for me, I'd like to focus in on the fact. I mean, this is Through the TechVine, where we talk about tech that has an impact on our lives, right? And just the fact that we can identify anything, and then also identify differences and variants, and ultimately at some point understand how those compared to other variants and other things we have to deal with. I mean, and you said a connected network of labs. I mean, that can't be easy, right? So data from multiple labs, I'm picturing big data and machine learning and artificial intelligence and a bunch of stuff going on, doing all of this analysis, of course, with some really super smart people also connected. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, and technology is not cheap. So the fact that there are certain countries that may not be doing as much sequencing as they were doing in South Africa is the fact that they don't have the resources to do so. So one of the things is not only a disparity in the vaccine distribution that, of course, we are witnessing, but also in this technology. They're like, well, why not everybody's sequencing? And a part that it takes a long time because you're sequencing the entire genome of the virus. It's expensive. It's not a cheap thing to do. So again, technology is not the same everywhere, and the future may not be everywhere and equally distributed.
It's true, and you made the point about there was concern that maybe some researchers might not want to be open about what they're finding if it means that suddenly the doors to their country, their citizens, the doors to other countries get closed for them, and it's a really interesting point because I can understand the policy thinking of, well, it seems to have originated here. This is where we first know about it. So we know it's there, shut the doors so that it doesn't get in here. I understand that. But then there's also, we don't know if it really started in South Africa. We know that that's where they discovered it first, because they do have all this great advanced technology. Who knows where it actually originated? And yeah, if we stop having people share openly when they find information like this, then that puts the whole world at risk. So
Yeah, what good is the technology if you don't actually use the information that comes out of it?
Yeah, share it for the good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny is it's a political decision, and so we just want to show to the citizen that something has been done. But if there's something we've learned from the past, is that this virus is not knocking on a door. It doesn't care about a border. It's just like it's already around here. So what we can do is to prepare ourselves, go back and wearing the mask, which I never stopped wearing, so I'm already there, and realize that even if you are vaccinated, you're still carrying the virus, and the vaccine help, but it's not by closing the walls and the borders that we're going to stop this, unless you live in an island, and in that case, maybe you got a little bit more chance, but. We got to trust technology, so maybe we need to wait and see what this does. But I'm not blaming the countries to say if we can even slow it down a little bit, that's going to help. So, and you know what? Technology is that double blade, right? Sean, you mentioned that. Sometimes don't you want to maybe
Both sides
be
cut
better if we didn't know about it? What if it's not a problem? Yeah. What if it's not a problem? What if we never catch it? It's been going around for a while, but now we know everything. It's and we will know even more, and it comes with good and bad.
That's a really interesting point, because I live in New Hampshire, and I don't know if you guys know, because we're a small state, but we're in a massive surge right now. We're at the worst with hospitalizations that has ever been during the entire pandemic in New Hampshire. This is our worst time right now. And some of the local hospitals are overflowed. The emergency rooms, from what I've heard, the emergency rooms have to turn people away and are saying, go to urgent care because we can't accommodate you. So it's pretty bad. But I only know this from reading the news, and I live here, because what's around me and in my neighborhood, and when we go to the grocery store, I wouldn't know there was a surge on unless I read about it. So it is very strange, this reality of there's so much in life that we just don't know. It's like, what was that? Was it Plato, Aristotle? The shadows on the cave wall. It's like even
yeah.
Right? Yeah, of course you would know that, Mark.
Plato.
But was it Plato? Okay. Or Plato? Is it Plato?
No, Plato, I think.
Platypus? No.
I wouldn't know in Italian. Plato will be, I would say, in Italian, but I think it's
I liked Plato when I was a kid.
Plato.
But what we know and what we experience, our capacity for knowledge now is just so incredible. To think that we can identify not just the virus and the sequence of the genome sequence of the virus, but to be able to fairly quickly determine when there are any changes in it, even minor changes, is just mind blowing. But then we live our everyday, day to day, and it's like, yeah, there are germs and viruses all around us, and we're like, we don't see them, so we don't think about them. It's just this very strange, I guess, cognitive dissonance of what we know, dissonance, but and what we experience. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And yeah, tech gives us so much more than we can experience.
And that may be why some people would rather, I don't know, rather live in denial of science, because life, maybe it's perceived a lot easier. Again, going back to the metaphor of the shadow in the cave. Yep.
Well, it's a whole different path we could take in terms of how much information can the human brain absorb and take in and do
process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why you're a mini-me.
Mini-me. The M&M mini-me.
M&M.
So what is it?
We had a comment here. Sebastian says sometimes we're simply better off not to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Is that what you bottle every day? I think it's the feeling that I have, Sebastian. That feeling that I have when I decide to finally close the computer and and don't look at the phone anymore. Maybe open a book and just say, you know what? I'm just gonna go to bed without thinking about this. You kind of need that break.
Need a switch for sure.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Sean,
So
bring the mini me.
I'm a little more lighthearted with my news, and it's not really news, but it's tech that. Again, I don't know that there's probably new tech somewhere, but the stuff I come across probably isn't new necessarily all the time. But it's how it's being used and commercialized. So I got to notice that in one of the holiday markets here, they're printing 3D versions of people and their pets.
Ooh.
So you pick a scene and it looks like you dress up for it or undress to a certain point for it. One of the pictures is people in a raft ring, right? That you would take into a pool, and that's their shot. But this idea, and what's interesting to me is that this is mobile enough. The technology is mobile enough that they can go and take it in to a market area and do 3D full body scans of people, and then create miniature and animals, pets, I guess. Or
sorry. Then the final product is like a little plastic
like a
soldier.
little miniature,
It's
little
like
soldier. Yes, exactly.
Oh, okay.
And they look pretty dang real. like the detail of like the fingers aren't just the hands aren't just nubs. You can actually
how many
and
how
like
many are we
teeth.
talking here, Sean?
Let me see. They had some sizes. I actually went to the website of the company as well. They do one that's as small as 4 inches.
Okay.
And 14 inches is one of the bigger ones. And yeah, I mean the detail with patches and ties and hats, and I mean it's pretty spectacular. And then that's the next part. So I mean it's pretty cool to preserve. And they show scenes where I don't know if people still do this or not, but one marks the on the door jamb how tall somebody is at their certain age.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody remembers doing that, if they still do that. But they're showing pictures of, all right, 3rd year birthday, 4th year birthday. So you could get a mini me version of each birthday to kind of capture your growth over time. So the thing that makes me pause though is that they're collecting this information, and now obviously I'm always going to take it to where does this information go and what else can it be used for. And but I mean there's two parts to it. I mean it's pretty cool what I've seen in terms of what can be done, but then there's always the who has this data and what else can it be used for.
Yeah, so they need to do a 3D model of you every time to create the 3D reproduction.
Right. Yep.
How do you do that with dogs? Do they have to stay still?
I presume, I don't know if the dog has to stay still. It doesn't really say.
And we know that they've trained.
Maybe they do enough. Maybe they do it a few times, and there's enough to.
How detailed are we talking about here? Because the issue is, okay, the dog is like, oh, look, it looks like a German Shepherd. Okay, cool. They all look, most of them, they look the same in a certain way, right? But when you come to scanning people's face, the implication, that's when it gets fun. right? I mean, so how detailed is this
I mean,
scan?
you can tell these now, again, because ultimately it's digital, maybe it can be changed digitally to look like someone else, which is another thing that I thought of. But I mean, these look real.
Mm.
These look real. Like you can see the fuzz on the Santa hat.
So here's where I bring it.
That's
A year ago or 2 years ago maybe, a company that would not be named, but everybody can think who is that. They ship stuff, so and they ship clothes, and they come up with the idea that if you were going to scan your body, then when you buy clothing online, you're sure that you're getting the right size because it's made to scan your
Right.
body.
Right.
And people were like, wait a minute, what are the consequences of this? So I'm sure some people have done it. Maybe it wasn't scanning the face, so maybe that was totally cool. But now we're at the point, it's kind of like those games that you do online where like, hey, see yourself how you're going to look 50 years from now. Or here, send us a picture and we're going to reproduce your facial exterior into, like a makeup artist, effects artist will do on a movie. And people, again, is like, well, you're giving them the permits to get your picture and know who you are and so forth. So now you can actually do it at the market. Can we stop these? Are we worrying too much? Should we just...
I don't know.
Are
I
we
don't know if we're worrying,
too cybersecurity oriented?
many would tell me I am.
So I mean, it is. I don't know if people have, because a lot of the fear about facial recognition. I mean, this is also it's our faces are public information. Like the big concern is how it's going to be used. Will it be used to profile people? Is it going to be used to if you got an arrest warrant for somebody based on a drawing of them? Do you go after, you put that into a facial recognition and now you're arresting somebody that actually wasn't a perpetrator just from sort of this weird mismatch? Like that's where I can see a lot of misuse. I know people are concerned about deep fakes, but that's, if you've done videos and put them up on the internet, if you're on, you've kind of given a lot of information to people to be able to use with the deep fakes already. So I am trying to think of if there's a 14-inch critter of me or me and my dogs, is there a cybersecurity downside? And I don't know. I'm sure some attacker will think of something.
All right, Diana, take the comment from Sebastian right now. That's the key.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you give the permits to use your face on a robot? Because if you give the permits, then there is no legal is going to hold you off from your face being anywhere else.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, look, if you post your picture online, a lot of that is just you've given permission for it to go out into the public space.
But how do you use it? And of course, nobody reads the fine print, so we don't know if we sign away our soul to Mephistopheles. I don't know, maybe, so for what I know.
But
I have 3D proof that Marco is in that compromising position.
Oh, well, see, but you can also have 2D proof that Marco was in that compromising.
You can have a 1D proof if you were there. Where you draw the line, though? I mean, honestly, if you're alive and you travel and you've gone to an airport, when you go in Europe, in a lot of places, you open the gate with your face recognition. You're not even in control of that. So yeah, of course it's everywhere.
I was wondering about that, if it would fool facial recognition, because a lot of the facial recognition technology can differentiate between 2D and 3D, so that they know if you're putting a picture of that person in front of the system to analyze versus a 3D. But yeah, what if it's 3D? Would that be enough? It kind of reminds me, do you remember back when we were all worried about I mean, not that we were all worried, and we're not worried anymore, but early on in the biometric adoption phase, a lot of hackers were doing things like the gummy fingers. Remember, you get like some gelatin and you create a fingerprint, finger off of that. And then they had even rigged it up so that you could create artificial pulses and warmth so that it would fool even a reader that was looking for a human finger. It would be read as human.
Well, some system have been fooled by facial recognition of a mask that is so well reproduced that it is a 3D reproduction of your stuff. That's why my first question was, how detailed is this thing?
Yeah. And will it fool facial?
Detailed enough to look pretty dang real in a 4 to 14 inch.
Wow.
Scaled model. When you blow it up, life size, who knows, right? Now, they may have the data. Maybe the limitation is the printing part to get it printed as big as they want. But
you know what is the scariest part?
What's that?
One time when I was a teenager, I'm going to go back many years. A girlfriend at the time, her present for my birthday was a poster-sized picture of her, and I was like, "What the hell?" So now think of the consequences of getting an actual entire statue. Like, I'm thinking, like, you received the gift of, I don't know, Sean, I love you and you guys, but I don't want to have your little miniature mini-me on my desk. I don't need that.
How about a full-sized 3D Sean?
Oh, my God. No.
I wonder if people that lose their pets, if there's going to be anything, because like at one point, all right, I know this sounds a little crazy, but at one point I was like, actually, it's the dog that's here, Kenny. He unfortunately died when he was 10 of hemangiosarcoma, but I loved this dog so much that at one point I was like, when he dies, could I taxidermy him and then like animatronic him? So I was going to record his barking so that I would never have to be without him. I'm wondering if the 3D, if it looks that realistic, if it would give any comfort to pet owners that lost their pets, or if it's just, I mean,
that's not even creepy a little bit.
Yeah. It's not even creepy. It's a little
no,
creepy,
no, it's not.
I was going to scare people in my living room. Yeah.
I would love a 3D little miniature of my pet that's gone, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's too late. I'm screwed.
Your next pet.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm eating a cookie. The consequences. I mean, there is the cloning part. I think was it Barbara Streisand the clone? Or just cloning? I heard 2 poodles. Or
the problem with the cloning is that you can't, like, gene expression can't be controlled. So it's quite possible that the clone of the pet doesn't look like the pet. So some of these people that want the exact same looking pet, apparently in the cloning companies, what they do is they discard of the ones that aren't gene expressing to look exactly like the beloved missing pet. And that was enough for me to be like, oh, I mean, and also it begs the question, where's our soul or our personality? Even if I could have replicated Kenny's DNA and his look, it still wouldn't have been Kenny.
Exactly. And I know, Sean, I know what you mean. I mean, we lost the dogs not too long ago. And when Siri showed me the pictures, I always smile. I know it's a good memory that I have, but, I don't know if the cloning and the immortality of it is the solution of it. So that's a big philosophical conversation about it.
To me, this seems like a nice middle ground. You get the look. Clearly, it's missing the motion. You get the look.
It's triggering the good memory.
Yeah, exactly.
It's triggering the good memory. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, well, maybe that same holds true if you wanted
for the mini-me.
Have a mini-me version. To leave behind.
Yeah, well, it's just incredible how quick 3D went from sci-fi to here. You go in the Christmas market and what do you want? Like a little ornament for your Christmas tree, or should we scan you and create a robot that you can can bring home
with your face on it. Yeah.
with your face on it. Yeah, that's exactly. We're connecting everything here.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to get on my thing that has nothing to do with any of these, but I thought it was an
Is it
interesting.
food?
Is it what?
Let it be food.
It's not food. It's a spaceship in the
All right.
desert. And this is the title of a book, and it's about smart cities and how apparently a lot of projects that wanted to create smart cities from nothing, because it's hard to convert a city like London or Florence or New York into a smart one. So many people, especially in China and in Saudi Arabia and in other places, are like, in Japan too, let's just make one from scratch, which is completely intelligent, completely smart. And then we just need to convince people to come and live here because, hey, it's so cool. Well, it turned out it's not that cool because people are actually not willing to move into the cities. So a lot of this project, they have been either left to die or we don't know if it's actually gonna work. There is one, for example, which is made by Toyota Motor Company called Woven City, and it's in right at in the shadow of Mount Fuji. So it's actually not a bad place. To be honestly, and it's all connected. It's all like sensors and all of that. And maybe this is going to be successful. But the problem with this is, do you want to change the city that we have and turn it into smart, but maybe never being smart enough because you're not doing them from scratch? Or we can do something about this smart city spaceship in the desert where, kind of like the Las Vegas in a way, if you think about it, where you have everything there, but you got nothing around. There is no history, no culture, and you kind of have, it's kind of dry. So the old piece that talk about this, it's that decision between how do we need culture, and it's not just about being smart, and the other one is we want the smart part because it's good for the environment and energy conservation and the new grid and everything, and what is the middle ground. So I like to know what you guys think about it. Like, would you even want to move in a city that has everything but it's kind of unreal?
It's like it's contained because you're out in the middle of nowhere, so you're not going anywhere other than if you want to go to the theater, it's whatever the spaceship theater is showing, right? Is that
That's one of the angle. The other angle is that it may be a little dry from a architectonic urbanistic perspective, which is what is happening. Like an example is a city in Korea, where they call it the ghost town because I think there are many of those in China as well, but in Korea it's like you can go there, but people don't want to move there.
Weren't some of the ones in China, they were like trying to replicate like other points in time and architecture, like sort of like a little like Celebration down in Florida was trying to be like old turn of the last century Main Street was sort of the theme. I thought some of the Chinese
that's called Disneyland.
Like well, Celebration, but Celebration Florida. But I think they were trying to They were trying to sort of emulate a certain architecture of point in time to create not just a community, but also a look and feel to the community too.
Mm-hmm. But how artificial is going to be perceived by the people that actually do live there? I mean, that's a good example. Main Street, Disneyland or Disney World. And it's so cool when you're there, but okay, for 10 minutes, maybe an hour, would you live there? Or the city should be, it's a living, breathing, growing creature that develops with time, with the society, with the culture, and you probably better off patching it. So that's the big question.
And what you're looking at, there's nothing like sustainability. It's not like a biome, right? It's not this completely contained, sustainable entity. It just happens to be that you create a new city kind of from scratch out in an area where there's enough land to accomplish that.
Yeah, you're talking about
Yeah,
a city
okay.
that is just created with the right grid, with all the monitoring, even to the point there are some that they're monitoring the occupant of the home's health. And that may be an alert for me to not
I know.
move there. It's like, okay, very dystopian, sorry, not. So maybe that's the bad extreme, but the other one is, yeah, I mean, everything is monitored and connected, saving energy, recharging for electric cars. There's only either electric car or liquid hydrogen car. So everything is perfect, except it doesn't feel real.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't. I mean, the idea of living in a community that had really similar goals of, yeah, we want to be eco-friendly and we want to foster sustainability, that doesn't sound awful. The parts that sound awful to me are, one, if it's in the desert, because one of my favorite things is to go hiking. So if
the desert, the desert is a metaphor. I mean, you of course you think
yeah,
Las Vegas, and I'm sure that's the case. Like, for example, one project that it's called NEOM, which is a $500 billion investment that is made in Saudi Arabia, which is an entire futuristic city where it wants to be diverse, integrated. So, I mean, all the great intention, we'll see if that works. So the desert is just the idea that it's disconnected from everything else. It doesn't necessarily need to be in the desert. It just...
See, for me, I'm looking at it from a platform perspective. So not starting with something and trying to retrofit it to meet the needs of today and be able to grow for tomorrow, but perhaps starting fresh with a completely new way of creating and harnessing and using energy and communications and travel and all this stuff. And I think there's a lot of value to that, perhaps. Where I always get concerned is who's going to invest in that, right? And I don't know if it looks different doing that now than it did 200 years ago in certain areas where things started fresh with new investments. I don't know if does the ownership change, do the rights change? And the thing that always comes to mind when we talk about smart things and new technologies that try to replicate what it thinks we want as humans is that we end up with some common denominator. I don't want to say low common denominator, but some common denominator that works for most, doesn't work for everybody, doesn't allow for that uniqueness or a feeling, a culture that changes depending on who you are and how you interact with the environment. Rather, it's just some bland thing that's defined by the technology that's running on that platform.
I wonder too if maybe rather than starting from scratch, like in Egypt, there's like Cairo, and then they went down a few miles and they built New Cairo. Because I wonder, do we have to abandon what we have? Because like Napoleon III had Haussmann basically reinvent Paris. Right? It was like, it was dirty, it was overcrowded, and he said, and that's the Paris that we know today, that we all love, was pretty modern. I think it was like the 1920s when they finally finished all of Haussmann's changes throughout the city. But it's beautiful with that, the way that the roads all go out from the, Champs-Elysees and everything. I mean, it's really well designed, and it improved the city a lot. So I'm wondering, maybe rather than creating spaceships in the desert, should we be thinking about being really radical and changing our existing cities to make them much more, because there'd have to be a lot of change. I don't think we could do it
Well, that's the alternative that in this article is being presented, which is cities like Singapore, London, Barcelona, for example. They're really investing heavily in bringing the smart element to the city where they are. And I think that the truth is kind of right in the middle. There is this professor of anthropology, Shannon Mattern. She wrote a book that is called "A City is Not a Computer." So I think it goes with what Sean says about the platform. So if you're going to make the perfect city based on calculation and algorithm and everything, it's kind of like artificial intelligence may turn out to be dry. So maybe the base of it can be taken and said, okay, now let's apply this to the existing city. Or now that we have a base, how do we make a human? So there is that, right? That difference. I vote for adapting the existing city, but also understand how hard it can be. So maybe a new Cairo, I don't know. Can you adapt? I don't know. I'm looking at a picture of Florence right now.
Well, the question I have is,
and I'd like, I don't know.
Well, the question I have is, are we doing this to offer new things to save money, manage resources?
Oh yeah.
Or is there a we want a better culture? Because I feel that, to me, that's kind of missing in all of this.
The why.
Yeah.
Well,
I think the why is there. It just may not. I don't know if the drivers are what we all would expect or want necessarily.
Well, think about what we said a few times about smart driving cars. How if you have a city that is designed with roads for smart driving cars, where there are more sensors, there's a flat, like smoother corner, I don't know, more space in between, and you got edge computing going around and the traffic lights, then probably you could have full autonomous smart car. So what do? How hard it is to restructure a city, like you mentioned, Paris and many other cities went through like an urbanistic redesign in the 1800s, and versus scratch all of this, right? Tabula rasa, and let's start from scratch.
And
but the goal, it depends.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking about we talk about the self-driving cars, but what would be really nice in a city redesign would be more community transportation too. But yeah.
I also think another way to look at it perhaps is, does this, I'll use the word platform again, enable creativity and innovation within that community where it could actually create a culture that was never possible before?
Yep.
So an environment that uses the resources of power and communications and data and robotics and whatever else, right? To create things that aren't possible in the world we know right now.
Yeah.
Well, if you look back at even the idea of utopia, it's always been about changing our place of living to be more inclusive and allow space for art, more community. I don't know. Maybe there is a reason why it's called utopia. It's because you can't have it. I don't know.
I think the biggest problem with utopia is that there are probably as many city utopias as there are people in the world.
Where everybody has a different idea of what the perfect city should be. And
you just said something interesting, Marco. Utopia. You can't have it. And that makes me wonder, dystopia. Does that mean we can't have that either?
Oh.
Because I always feel, we can end up in dystopia, but we'll never reach a utopia.
Maybe dystopia is different for everybody.
There was a philosopher, and I need to remember if it was Kierkegaard or whatever. I'm gonna have to look for it, but it said ideals are made to never be reached, because as you get closer to an ideal, your ideal change. But that doesn't mean that you're not aiming for it, right? So we need to have ideals, and we need to know that they're meant to never be realized, but it's what drive us. So if you're driven by utopia, you may, as they say, you may aim for the star and land on the moon, or, now I'm using other metaphor, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's those extreme that just because you can't reach it doesn't mean you shouldn't be driven by that. So better to be driven by a utopia than a dystopia. And a dystopia, I think, is so much easier to reach because you just fuck up everything. It's just like, hey, human. Yeah, exactly. Hey, look, can I build this beautiful city made of Legos, or can I just take a hammer and just crash it? That's easier. And then you ruin everything.
Sort of like the inverse of Tolstoy, right? Was that like every happy family is the same, but unhappy families are also in this way. It's like every dystopia is the same, and it's terrible.
Well, that's what we write in books, and that's what we're always fighting against. It's like, how easy is that something goes wrong? Like, think about artificial intelligence. It's like we're always right about the dystopia of it. Yeah. But we know that there is a lot of good things coming for it, but so much easier to imagine one thing goes wrong and you're just screwed.
And like with Sean's point, it's if only a few things are going bad, we walk around and we're like, it's terrible, and dystopia.
Sounds like cybersecurity, right?
Right, but utopia, I mean, then everything has to be perfect. Exactly. So
yeah. I love it. And if there is that one little thing, nope, that didn't work.
Princess of the Pea.
Wow.
I'm trying to visualize that in my head. Is it my first visual was a slider top to bottom, where utopia is at the top, almost impossible to reach, with gravity pulling us down to dystopia all the time. I was thinking, well, can we just switch that on the side? And there's no gravity to pull us, so it's easier to move from one to the other, perhaps. But then I was thinking a target where utopia is in the middle, and we're trying to work our way into the middle. I don't know.
It's our nature. It's our nature, I think.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, we always pinpoint. We're never happy. We want more and more. It's almost like, can you be happy with what you have? Can you accept the fact that there is so much good in the technology that we have? But again, we always talk about the negative of it.
Well,
it's like we feed on it.
There's a good book by Atul Gawande, the doctor. It's called Being Mortal, and it's all about dying. And if you've got like anybody in your life that's dying, and elderly parents or things, it's a really amazing read. But he makes this really good point about that. When people are younger, we all strive, or almost all of us. We strive. We're nervous. And acquiring things matters. And then as people get older, and there's like a certain age when it just happens to almost everybody, you stop wanting to acquire things and you want to have more experience. And it's almost like, is our genetics driving us? Is it society, or is it our genetics? And if we're always striving, then we are hardwired to think it's not good enough. We have to do more. We have to work harder. We have to fix something.
Well, maybe that's what drives us to be where we are.
Yeah.
And with that thought, I'm gonna have to jump on another call.
Let me drive away.
I'm gonna drive away.
Do more.
Well, Sean, I say play the music. Yep. I really love this conversation, and
great conversation. Again, glad some folks jumped in on it with us. Social media today.
Sebastian's our friend.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Really cool. And same time next week.
We will be back
through the TechVine, bringing tech news, good or bad. Hopefully good.
And turning them around.
Exactly.
That's what.
Until next time.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Blue Lava is the first business platform for CISOs to manage their security program. Blue Lava guides security leaders to effectively measure, optimize, and communicate their security program with confidence and ease in one platform. Learn more at bluelava.net. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Through the TechVine podcast. If you learned something new and this podcast made you think, then share itspmagazine.com with your friends, family, and colleagues. If you represent a company and wish to associate your brand with our conversations, sponsor one or more of our podcast channels. We hope you will come back for more stories and follow us on our journey. You can always find us at the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society.